Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Ishant Taneja and I will be your instructor for Statistics 1 course this term. And I hope you all have completed week 1 by now or are still in progress. Since we have a big crowd over here, so you all are requested to just raise your hand one by one. And whenever your name is taken, just lower your hand and unmute and ask the doubt. And that's how we will proceed in the session. Okay, Mr. Eknath, you have any doubt? You have raised your hand.
Yes, sir. Sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, I have doubt about interval and ratio scale measurement. Can you explain? Because I am finding the confusion between understanding both the things.
Okay, yep. Can you see the whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, we have these two scales, right? Interval and ratio. Scale and ratio scale.
Sir, I have a question. So the course I'm not able to access through online course. I'm not able.
For that, you have to mail it to the support team.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So in interval scale, there are three properties, or you can say two, will be more than enough. That order should matter, right? And the difference is possible, like difference between any two observations is a fixed unit of measure, right? By difference we mean you can just perform addition and subtraction over there. Same two things goes for ratio as well. Abhinav, should I remove you from the meet or?
What is being done right now, sir?
Just wait, raise your hand and wait for your turn. Don't unmute unnecessarily and make chaos in the class. Okay, so ratio scale also have these two properties. In addition, it has absolute zero, which is missing in the interval scale. So what happens when there is absolute zero is you can perform division and multiplication things. Is it clear till this step?
Sir, yes, sir. But can you explain examples so that we can understand it better?
Yeah, you're coming to it. Okay. So first of all, I think you can start with, okay, the basic example of temperature in degrees Celsius, which Professor Usha Mohan ma'am has already taken it, right? So suppose consider these two observations, 20 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Celsius, right? So here you can order them, right? You can say that obviously 40 degrees Celsius is more than 20 degrees Celsius, right? Difference, yeah, you can obtain a meaningful difference between them. The difference between them is of 20 degrees Celsius, right? It is something meaningful subtraction we can do over here. But we cannot perform multiplication division over here, right? Because you cannot say that 40 degrees Celsius will be twice as hot at 20 degrees Celsius. If you want to look at a better view for it, see, if you know that for degrees Celsius, the minimum value is minus 273 degrees Celsius, right? And say here is the point over 20 degrees Celsius, and here it's 40 degrees Celsius, right? So to get to 20 degrees Celsius, you will need this much amount of heat, right? But to reach till 40 degrees Celsius, you will be needing this much amount of heat. So you can see that that heat or that temperature rise you have to give to get to 40 is not twice as you need for 20 degrees Celsius. So we cannot say that 40 degrees Celsius is twice as 20 degrees Celsius. Whereas if we look at over here in Kelvin, there is an absolute zero. The least value it can take is 0. When we say 20 Kelvin and 40 Kelvin, so again, order do matter, right? I can say that 40 Kelvin is obviously greater than 20 Kelvin. Difference, again, we can do. It's a meaningful subtraction we can do over here. And what happens when there is an absolute zero? Here we can say that 40 Kelvin is 2 times 20 Kelvin. Why? Because the amount of heat you are giving to get to this temperature is half that is needed to get to this temperature, right? So that's what absolute zero makes division, multiplication possible. Is this clear?
Marks are interval or ratio?
It depends.
Sir, can you give another example like area? If I take area or height, is it an interval or order?
Okay, we'll come to it. Who was asking this doubt? Is it clear to him?
Sorry, I sir.
Is it clear? Or you still have any
Yes.
doubt?
Sir, I have clear with this example, but I'm getting confused about other example like the marks or other anyone.
Okay, marks and any other thing?
Population. Suppose the village has a certain population, so I want to know that it is interval or ratio.
Village has a certain population. Okay, so what it should be according to you?
Sir, I think it should be the ratio, because we can say that after some years, by taking we can say that the population has twice that within 2 years, like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can do that. And another way to think of it, you can go with the properties, right? You can suppose a village has 20,000 population and other has 40,000, right? So you can definitely order them, right? That this is the greater population than this, right? Second, you can again do the meaningful subtraction, and difference between observation is a fixed unit of measure over here as well. Like 40,000 minus 20,000, it would be just 20,000 people left, right? Third thing, you can imagine it over a number line again. The minimum population you can have is 0, right? The number of people you need to get to 20,000 population is this much. And to get the population of 40,000 is exactly the twice you need to get the 20,000. So here you can say that 40,000 population is twice of that, right? It has an absolute zero. Is it making sense now?
But sir, we can think in this way that the village has, how can we think that the village has no population? There will be the certain population like 10 people or 20,000 people. How can we think that there are 0 people?
So 0 people means absence of population in that village, right? In general, there won't be 0, right? Even if we go for height and weight, right? It won't be
Yes,
0
sir.
centimeter. Weight won't be 0 kg. So 0 centimeter height means absence of height for that person. Like that person is absent. There is no person as such. You can say that absence of that entity. Similarly for weight, 0 kg is one of the possible value which indicates if weight is 0 kg, it is absent. That person is absent, or something you can think of, right? But
So
it
is it
cannot
same
go
for-
beyond 0.
So is it same for area? Area can be 0, cannot be 0 also.
Yeah, area in general. See, if we draw a number line, right? Any line, so you obviously say that area of line is 0.
Okay.
So 0, it means the absence of area for that thing, right? So
Sir,
don't
excuse me,
have
sir.
that- Yeah.
Sir, for ratio, it is told that negative values don't exist, and also 0 is defined in this case.
Yeah.
Whereas in
Negative value
intervals,
don't exist. Yeah.
yeah. Whereas
It
in
won't go beyond
intervals, negative value exists, and there is an undefined 0. So
Yeah.
what does an undefined 0 mean in this? So like any example? Could you give me an example, sir?
Undefined 0, it means that 0 doesn't, see here when we say height 0 centimeter, right?
Hmm.
It is defined that okay, it won't go below it. It is the base from which it will start, right? Exactly 0 won't be possible. Exactly
Okay.
0 means absence of that thing.
Yeah.
And while in interval, 0 is not the base. It can go beyond it or below it as well. It can go anywhere, right? So 0 is not as such properly defined. 0 don't have its proper meaning over there.
Then
0 means should be absent, right?
then it should be told like 0 doesn't exist, and it can take any negative values only, right? What is defined 0? I mean, like when 0 is not defined as told in interval case, it can be like when compared to another case, this can be a 0. If you compare this with another case, there will be another 0 for this
For which case you are saying
interval.
interval? Okay. So for interval, suppose let's say there are some degree Celsius. Whenever if I say 0 degree Celsius, so it is not the base temperature or something, right? It is not the base upon which it will grow.
Yeah, that's not absolute 0.
Yeah, that's not absolute 0. It can also go. So 0 here don't has its proper meaning over here.
Okay.
0.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, could we take also examples of entrance exam scores because they have negative markings, and a person who has scored enough negative marks will also get 0, while a person who has not attended any questions will also get 0. So in these two situations, you have the same value.
Yeah, that is an interval case.
Yes,
Because
interval
there is a
Interval scale.
negative existing there, negative value existing there.
See, whenever it's a ratio, you cannot go below 0. Because if it goes below 0, you cannot perform division and multiplication. It won't be meaningful in that case.
Oh,
Sir,
okay.
so what about the population growth rate case? Like we can say
That's the great question. You have to do it. After that, we will discuss.
So with regard to the mark score that we
Okay.
just talked about, we could have compared there now that a person A who has scored -4 marks and a person B who has scored -2 marks. So there also could we have make comparison by
We
stating,
won't be discussing graded assignment questions over here.
okay, all right.
For that, you have to wait.
Sir,
So,
Yeah.
can set of ordinal type of data be a subset of nominal type of data?
Set of ordinal type of data.
Be a subset of nominal type of data? Because ordinal is again like categorical data only. You say is it either good or bad? Again, that means the labels only, right?
Yeah.
It's good or it's bad or high or low.
Mhm.
But ordinal is something like about ranking, right? So when you say the rankings can be numbers also, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 also.
Mhm.
So how can you say this can be a label, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 can be a label? So is that can this be told that ordinal set of data be a subset of nominal set of data?
Okay, we will come to that question. First of
So-
all, is this question clear, Mr. Eknath? Or
Sir, in this I have a question that 0 for the population, what does that mean then?
it means that absence of population for that village, right? There is
Okay,
no population in that village. That's what absolute 0 is actually.
thank you.
so in the marks example, if we means divided into classes, like number of students who scored between 0 to 30 or 30 to 60, 60 to 100. So then also that classes will remain this interval, or it will change.
Okay. Okay, we will come to it. We are moving to ordinal scale. Okay. So
Okay.
firstly, is this clear interval and ratio difference? Whoever asked
Yes,
this.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes, sir.
I have a doubt.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So can we say that in the same in the same temperature, we have, in case of Kelvin, we have interval, but in Celsius, we have ratio?
You said it reverse, right? In case of Celsius, we have interval because here we don't have
Yes.
absolute zero. It can go up to -273, right? We cannot perform division multiplication over here.
Yes.
While in Kelvin, its minimum is 0, and we can perform. It has absolute 0, means it cannot go below 0.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have
Yeah.
a doubt. Sir, you said that if a population is 0, then there is an absence of population, right?
Yeah.
But if a person has a 0 height or 0 weight, like that case shouldn't exist, as a person cannot have a absence of height or absence of weight. A person cannot be like that.
Yeah. Absence of that person simply it would mean.
What, sir?
It would definitely mean absence of that person, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
that case shouldn't exist. So a height and weight should be a ratio, as per my thinking.
Yeah, it is their ratio.
Okay, they are ratio.
Yeah, they has an absolute 0.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
So sir, height and weight is a ratio.
Yeah.
Then
Height,
area
will also be ratio.
Okay,
These
But
are
sir, a
all
moment ago you just said area is interval.
No,
Like
area
if
is
you
ratio.
take an area of a line, you said it's zero. It's a 0.
It's a 0. Yeah, that's the absolute 0, right? You have area has an absolute 0. Whenever there is an absolute 0, it would be ratio, right?
So the same thing applies to the marks as well. Yeah, right, sir?
Yeah, in marks there are various possibilities. It depends on what type of data you have. You have to just search for the absolute 0 if it have, and then we decide if it's interval or ratio.
Okay, it depends on the context.
Yeah, it depends on the context. By looking at the data set, you can only tell.
So what exactly absolute 0 means?
Absolute 0 means if it is 0, it means that the absence of that thing that indicates. It cannot go beyond 0. 0 indicates it just the absence of that thing. Like when we say population is 0, it simply means absence of population, right?
Okay.
So that's what absolute 0 is.
Yeah, okay.
But an interval.
Just like 0 degree Celsius, is also absolute 0?
No, 0 degree Celsius does not indicate the absence of temperature over here. It can go till -273 degrees Celsius, right? While 0 Kelvin in some sense indicates that, yeah, there is nothing at all. It's just the ideal situations we are having.
So just like if we like anyone say like I have a bag of 0 kg,
Yeah,
then it means that
there is no weight in the bag, right? Absence of weight for that bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it cannot go below 0 as well. So that is the absolute 0.
Got it.
Okay.
So that means ratios will have no negative values.
Yeah, no negative values. If it's taking negative value, you won't be able to perform multiplications, right?
Okay.
So in a simple terms, in centigrade we can go to the negative of the centigrade. Fahrenheit we can be negative, but Kelvin there is no negative. That is the reason you were saying Kelvin is actually a ratio and others two are interval.
Yeah, makes sense.
IQ is an interval or a ratio measurement, a scale of measurement?
IQ, I think in what units you are talking about?
Sir, I have read it somewhere that IQ is an interval scale of measurement, but can't it go below 0?
I think it's depends. I think It should be ratio, I think.
So can I answer this question, sir?
I don't think
Yeah,
it can go
please.
beyond 0.
Sir,
Yeah.
IQ can come under ratio because IQ is a number again, where you say, see, you don't say IQ is in the negative terms, like your IQ is -5 or -8. You don't say it that way, right?
Yeah.
So negative
Sir.
does not exist, first thing.
Sir,
And IQ this is a case where IQ cannot be 0. Like 0 IQ doesn't
Yeah.
mean the person is dumb,
IQ
actually,
can't be
something like
0.
that.
Hmm.
IQ
Sir,
can't be 0.
you
But
can't
there is
perform
there is one condition that is satisfied, that is this IQ cannot be told in a negative terms, like this person's IQ is -5. It cannot be told. So this comes under ratio. And on,
I think
Theoretically,
Okay,
IQ
okay.
can be 0 but not negative.
just like GP.
yeah, 0 but not negative. But there is a defined 0 for this.
Okay. One thing in general, you cannot tell anything. Like in general, what will be, like marks will always be ratio, this thing always be ratio. Sometimes it's depend on data sets. When you have data set, you have to look at the value set there. Only then you
Hello.
can tell.
Hello,
whether
sir.
it's Yes.
Sir, in temperature case, I want to ask that the temperature cannot go beyond -273 degrees centigrade.
I don't think it go. It's -273 is the
Okay.
least value.
So, sir, my explanation is correct that suppose the correct relation between Kelvin and degree centigrade is Kelvin is equals to degree centigrade plus 273, and the minimum value in temperature in degree centigrade will be -273. So temperature in Kelvin will be 0 Kelvin, so it's the absolute 0.
Yeah. That's the least value
So,
it
sir,
can have.
yes, sir. So, sir, am I correct this explanation?
Yeah, you can think about it like that. Yeah, you can.
Excuse me, sir. Can
Sir,
you hear me?
that means that range of the Kelvin will be 0 to above.
Yeah, it goes 0 till, I don't know the max value, but yeah, it goes 0 till some value.
Sir, can you explain the difference between categorical and numerical data?
Yeah, we're coming to that as well. First of all, is this thing clear? Absolute 0 clear to everyone? Or yeah.
Yes, sir.
There is a statement that
Can you explain
ratio.
it again?
Sir,
One
if
by one.
something is negative, that means that is sure that that cannot be ratio.
Okay, one by one. Just Abhinandan, go ahead.
So I was asking that, sir, there is a statement which says the variable with ratio scale of measurement can have a 0 as one of its value.
Yeah.
So then, like for degree Celsius also we have 0 as one of its value, and for Kelvin also we have 0 as one of its value.
Yeah.
So, but like in so my question is, like, if in degree Celsius a condition is put, like the temperature is from 0 degree to like for positive only. So then degree Celsius becomes remains interval or become ratio if
Okay.
condition is.
You're saying you are taking absolute value of value only, right? Mod.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in that case, it would be, its range would be something 0 to 273 only, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in that
So-
case, you can go ahead. Simply, it's depend on data sets mainly, right? What contexts are given. You can modify. You can also change interval to ratio as well, and ratio to intervals by
Yes.
doing some. So it's better
Yes,
to have a
sir.
look at data sets first.
Okay.
Sir,
And
give
the second-
Sir, give one example from marks, which is interval, and from marks, which is ratio.
Let him complete first. Abhinandan, yeah, you have done or any other doubt?
So my other doubt was like, so in like assignment, they have explained that we can convert in interval into ratio,
Ratio, yeah.
by subtraction. So I
Yeah.
didn't understood how subtraction can convert interval into ratio. So, so in assignments they gave the example of like ratings. If we rate from 1 to 5, instead of that, if we rate from 0 to 4, then it becomes ratio. That I didn't understood, sir.
Okay, suppose you have two restaurants, right? Restaurant 1 and 2. And you have some 5 customers rating. Okay, and the rating is going from 1 to 5. Okay, yeah, and yeah, this rating is interval scale because we are not encoding that 1 is poor, 2 is bad. I'm not encoding it like that. It's just a simple star rating I'm taking from the
That's why it's not
customers.
ordinal.
Yeah, it's interval scale, and also the difference is same. It has a fixed unit of measurement. Like 2 minus 1 will be 1 star, right?
Yes.
4 minus 2 will be 2 stars. So it's the meaningful subtraction I can do over here. If I encode it like that, then in that case it would be ordinal. So for now, I am taking interval ratings. Suppose we are getting 3 rate over here, 1 over here, 4 over here, 5 over here, 5, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. And then I am taking the absolute difference between their ratings. Right. So absolute difference would be 2. Let's make it 5 each. It would be 1, it would be 2, 0, 1. So you see the range of this absolute difference is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we have an absolute 0 as well, right? We cannot go beyond 0. We have absolute 0.
Okay.
So one who is giving 2 rating is definitely half the rating given if someone is giving 4, right?
Yes, sir.
So here we can do some multiplication and division as well.
Okay.
And difference, subtraction, addition we were able to perform earlier as
So-
well. We will be able to perform here.
So
Yeah.
we are doing subtraction by taking mod now.
Yeah.
Okay. And so here, what does 0 represent?
0 represents means there is no difference, absence of difference between them, right?
Okay.
That's it.
So, sir-
That's absolute 0. Yeah.
So the variable difference is ratio scale, now, not the
Yeah.
ratings.
Yeah. The difference ratings. This is the ratio scale.
Okay,
These
sir.
two are still interval.
Yes, sir.
This is the ratio, right?
Can you explain how to differentiate between that inferential and different descriptive statistics?
Okay. Just raise your hand. Coming to each one by one. This is clear.
Hello, sir.
right?
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
sir, it's clear. And my
Okay.
last
Sir.
doubt was about
Okay. We will come back to you.
ordinal.
Like, other
Yes, sir.
aspects.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, ratings. If you are, I'm interested to give the 0 rating, so it will come under the ratio now.
Yeah. Okay. Next is Niharika. You have any doubt?
Wait,
Yes,
I
sir.
have a doubt about this.
This written on the board.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, sir, you just like you gave the rating 1 to 5, but if I define the rating as 0 to 5, so
It would
then
be
it would
ratio.
be ordinal.
It would be ratio.
Oh,
In that
yes,
case, no.
ratio. Yes. So, like, if I define my ratings from 0 to 5, like, if I gave them an option to give a 0 rating, then it would be like ratio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Niharika. Go ahead.
So I wanted to ask how to differentiate between inferential and descriptive statistics.
Inferential descriptive. Okay. Yeah. It's sure.
And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I have one more doubt. Should I ask it later?
Yeah. Let's just go through it first, right?
Okay.
Okay. Suppose I want to know, like I went to specific school. Okay. I went to one of the Kendriya Vidyalaya, and I want the scores of class 12th mathematics exams in that particular school, right? So I will have some kind of this data, right? Student name, roll number, and their marks, right? I will have some this kind of data. Were you able to distinguish between population and sample, firstly?
Yes, sir. I can distinguish.
Okay, so here my interest is class 12 student of that particular school only, right?
Yeah.
So my population will be all the students in that class of that particular school, right? So that's my
Right.
complete population. So here the data is easy to collect. There would be, I think, 40, 50 students in a class or maybe more, but yeah, you can collect the data easily, right? So I have this complete population data. And from this data, I can tell that minimum marks is, let's say 20, maximum is 100, average marks is, let's say 80 or something, right? We can define number of students who score less than 33. We can obtain such type of data from this, right? And
Right.
all this data is nothing but describing this data set, right? It's very sure, like these will be the exact values we'll be obtaining from it. Even if someone other come and find these again, it will be the same, right? So whenever we describe a data set, we have, it comes under descriptive statistics. Okay. Is it clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Please repeat, sir. Please repeat, sir. Not clear.
Okay.
Please repeat this once again. So in short, here you are using the population directly, right?
Yeah, for now I'm using population. Okay. See, so I went to a particular school, and in that school I want the data of class 12 student scores in the mathematics exam. So this is the complete data I have collected. After collecting this data set, I have obtained these values, that minimum marks is 20, maximum is 100, average is this, number of students who got less than 33 marks is this, and any other information you need, you can obtain from this data set. And if you give the same data set to another 10 persons, they will also compute the same values, because we are describing this data set. It will be the exact values, right? With certainty. You can surely say that, yeah, this will be the average, this is the minimum marks. So in short, we are describing this data set. So it comes under descriptive statistics. Okay. But
finding the average doesn't come under inferential statistics.
No, we are describing this data set. We are not drawing conclusions or anything, right?
No, like finding the average, only particularly finding the average comes under inference, right?
No, I am finding average of the given data set only. I am describing this data set only. Then we are coming to inferential as well. Okay. So what happens is, you won't be able to collect all the data whenever. Suppose I want to know the marks of all the students in class 12 all over India. So you won't be able to collect that much large data, right? So what we do is, instead of collecting complete population data, we draw a sample. We take some sample data, right, which we can easily collect. So suppose this is the sample data we have, student name, roll number or anything, and then the marks. So here, if you look again from this, for this sample data, if I'm talking about only this data set, sample data set, which we have collected, I can also describe it, right? Or you can say summarize it.
Yes, sir.
I can say that minimum marks is this, maximum is something, average is something, and any other thing about marks you can obtain from this data set. But using this sample data, we conclude something about population.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, descriptive also a sample, right?
Yeah, here this is the descriptive statistics for sample data. Here it is descriptive for population data. This was our population. Okay, let me complete first. After then, take the cuts. Okay. So here we are using the sample data and concluding that in population, like of, suppose I collected the sample of 200 students. On the basis of this, I am saying that average marks of all the class 12 students all over India is something 56. That's what I'm concluding, or anything, right? Any other thing you want to conclude, minimum, maximum. And also these values which you obtain are subject to chance. Whenever you conclude such thing, you assign some probability. Yeah, I'm 95% sure that this will be the average. There won't be 100% certainty. And if you give this to any other person, he may conclude something else, some other values or something like that. So whenever we are using this sample data to conclude or to draw inferences about the population data set with some chance assigned to it or probability assigned to it, it comes under inferential statistics. But whereas when I am summarizing the given data set to me, it comes under the descriptive statistics. Is it clear?
So means mainly where there is population, it's descriptive, and where there is sample, it's inferential.
No, for sample, we can also do the descriptive, right? If I am
First we can describe the sample, or we can also infer from it.
So descriptive statistics you can do on both population data and sample data. But in inferential, we use the sample data to conclude something about population. Like from the data of just 200 students, randomly, which I selected in the sample, I can conclude about all the students in the India, right? So that's what I'm using sample to conclude about my population.
Yes,
so
sir.
that's inferential. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Sir, but how can you say about that second example sample data you have taken? That is differential or descriptive? How can you say that?
Which thing? It can be. I'm doing both things on this data set.
So how can you say that it is differential or descriptive?
It depends on what you are doing. If you are describing this collected data or you are summarizing it, then it would be descriptive. But if you are using this data to conclude about your complete population, then it would be inferential. So it depends which field of statistics you are using, descriptive or inferential.
Currently, it is descriptive or inferential?
It depends. If suppose for this data set, right? Even only for this data set, I am saying that minimum marks is this, maximum is this, average is this, and median is this, mode is this, something else, whatever we want to compute. Then I am only talking about this data, right? The collected data. That is descriptive statistics. Okay. But when I am using this collected data to conclude, to say that the average of my complete population is this, then it's inferential statistics.
Sir, then in the first example you are given that average as differential statistics. No, sir, how is it?
Descriptive statistics. It is the average of this collected data set only, the data set I have. Here also, I can compute average for this collected data set.
So average comes under descriptive or inferential, sir?
It depends, right? Suppose this is my collected data. Or you can say in general, this is my sample data. If I am summarizing my sample data, let's say I collected a data of 200 students. I'm saying the average marks of those 200 students is 60. Okay. And the complete population consists of, let's say, 1,000 students. So on the basis of this sample of 200 students, I am concluding, or you can say drawing inference, that the average of these 1,000 students would be 56.7. It will never be certain. There will be some probability. We will come to that in stats too. Like I am saying that the average of these 1,000 students will be 56.7 with some probability. So that's something inferential statistics. Whereas if I'm talking about only this data set's average, it's descriptive.
So if you use the data of
Just a minute. Sir, so here we can say that sample is not a good representative of population. Because we are not certainly saying that, no?
You will never certainly say in inferential statistics. It's always probability. If we can predict something certainly, it would have been a great advantage to anyone.
Sample will never be a good representative of population. Can we make
It
this
will be
statement?
good. No. It depends on that good representative thing. It depends on different things.
अरे मेरा वाला जरा उसे कर दो ना जी चल जल्दी
Suman Kumar, I think you should yourself.
Sir, I have a question for activity from activity 1. Can I ask right now?
1 minute. Is this thing clear? Descriptive, inferential, who asked it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm able to understand like what descriptive and inferential is from what you have taught, but when it comes to the activity questions as to what they are asking us to choose, it is confusing, sir.
Okay. For this concept, okay, which activity questions you are referring to?
Sir, can I tell you what activity question I want to ask?
Number 4 of
Yeah.
the activity question.
It's a question, activity question 1. From activity 1, it's question number 6 for Central Pollution Control Board wants to check air quality index. So I just wanted to
Okay.
ask, why is it descriptive and not inferential?
Yes, sir.
But okay, see, so we want to check AQI of all the major cities in India, right?
Yes, sir.
So what we did is we come up with a list of all major cities and their respective AQI levels.
Yeah, that can be sample. That is sample, right?
No, that's also my population as well, right? All the major cities of my interest, and I
Yeah.
have it. Okay,
Yeah.
so what I did is, okay, then put it over here. I made a list of all the major cities, okay,
Yes.
and their respective AQIs,
Yes, sir.
right? And then in this data set only, it is saying determine which cities among the list we have, right?
Yes, sir.
Have an IQI level greater than 100.
100, yeah.
So I'm talking about only this data set. This is my
Okay.
collected list. In this, how
Yeah.
many have AQI? So I'm summarizing this data only, right?
Okay.
I'm not concluding something about my population or something. And given the data set, I am working on it only.
Okay.
So that's descriptive, right?
Okay, I just got confused that I thought that we are just getting like coming up with the solution with the conclusion that which one has more than or less than 100. So that's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it had been that all the cities in India and you have a
Yeah.
list of, let's say, only 10 cities, on the
Okay.
basis of it, you are concluding that this many cities have IQ greater than 100. So that's something we are predicting, right?
Yeah.
That would be inferential. But here I'm
Okay.
talking about only the data set I have, nothing else.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, I have a doubt with this question.
Okay.
Like the first sentence gives an indication that there is some sort of inference we are drawing, right?
Okay.
Like after Diwali to decide if air pollution is reaching unhealthy levels.
Yeah.
So that's sort of misleading. Actually, I got your explanation of what it meant, like for this descriptive statistics, but still that first line is little misleading because I also got it wrong.
Okay. No, the first line is just to tell you that why Central Pollution Control Board is doing it. The major thing starts from here, right? We come up with a list of major cities and their AQI, and we want to determine only the cities with AQI greater than 100. That's it.
Okay.
The first thing is the board's motive and whatever. They will, after that, they will do some inferential statistics or something. But yeah, for now, we are only interested in determining this.
Okay.
So if there is another line in this question, like they are concluding that more than half of the cities are having higher AQI on Diwali, sir. So that when this line is mentioned, does it come under descriptive or inferential, sir?
It depends. If you are talking about only the cities which I have in the collected list, or you are talking all over the India, all the cities.
No, sir, all over India, sir.
Yeah, then it would be inferential, because on the basis of this list of major cities, I am concluding about all the cities, right?
Yeah, got it, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have a
Well,
activity question.
Okay, 1 minute. Who has asked descriptive and inferential? Is it clear too?
wait a minute, sir.
So it's
Yes,
clear
sir.
for
Thank you
me,
so
but I
much.
had another doubt.
Okay. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, in the video lecture, professor said that find out whether jersey number and mobile number are categorical or numerical data. So I
Okay.
think they are categorical. Am I right?
Yeah. And why you think it's categorical?
So because we cannot numerically compare jersey number or mobile number. Like this is greater or this is lesser. Anyways, no arithmetic we can do on that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, great.
So it's categorical, right?
Yeah, it's categorical.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
regarding descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, if you are
Yeah.
picking some people randomly, then it is inferential statistics, right?
If I'm picking some people randomly and concluding about all the peoples, then yeah, it would be inferential. But if I'm talking about only the randomly selected people, it would be descriptive, right?
Sir,
Yes,
I
sir.
have one more question if you can answer. That
Okay.
why lyrics of a song is unstructured data and not
Okay, we
structured
will
data?
come to that thing as well, but for now, let's focus
Sure.
on descriptive and inferential.
Sir, in this
Sir,
activity,
I want to
number,
question.
question number
Okay,
11, I can't understand, sir.
okay, just I will come to everyone. Just yeah. Next is Junath Jain. Do you have any
One
doubt?
doubt, Mr. Sir, can I ask one doubt regarding this descriptive and inferential?
Yeah, descriptive. Yeah.
Yeah, regarding inferential, can it be done only on a sample or descriptive can only be done in a sample? I have a doubt, some
Yeah.
confusion.
Descriptive you can do on any data, population data or sample data.
But inferential can be done only on a sample?
Yeah, because inferential is we are predicting something about population by analyzing sample data. So for inferential, we work only on the sample data. If we're working on the population data, we won't be predicting anything, right? So there will be no inferential statistics.
Sir, one thing. Sir, if both are in sample, like descriptive is also in sample and the inferential is also in sample, then how will we differentiate that if both are operating on the sample data?
The differentiating is if you are talking about only the sample data, it would be descriptive. But from that sample data, after analyzing that sample data, you will be talking about population. That would be something inferential statistics.
If I am drawing conclusion, so if both are sample data I have, so if I am drawing conclusion, I would put it in inferential.
Yeah.
If everything is given, I'm just stating the facts given there, then it will be descriptive.
Yeah.
Then, okay, thank you.
Sir, phone number and jersey number are categorical data.
Yeah.
But what type? Nominal or it will be nominal, right? Not ordinal.
Okay. Yeah, you tell why it would be nominal, not ordinal.
Because in ordinal there is a order, whereas in phone number and jersey number there is no order. So it will be nominal type of categorical data, right?
Yeah, nominal. Yeah, correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, as you said in IQ case, it is absolute zero, so it is ratio scale.
Yes, it depends on mainly data set. If you show me the data, we have in some data set it could be different. In some data,
Yeah, sir, but as per my understanding,
IQ can't be zero.
IQ can be ranked like person with IQ 5 will have more IQ than person with IQ 4.
Yeah.
Then will it not be ordinal scale of measurement?
As far as I know, we can do some mathematical operations on. So it depends on data set. Okay? We will have some different data sets where it would be the same thing you will see in different scales. So whenever we will face such questions, we will discuss them. Okay. Okay. Next is Junath Jain. Do you have any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I have a doubt in time series and cross-sectional data.
Time series and cross-section data. Okay. Okay. So see what happens in time series data is we will be collecting the data of suppose in a store, some ice cream parlor, you can say we are talking about the stock of ice cream. Okay. So let's say this is something time. So we check the stock at 9 a.m. right? Let's say it is 100. Then we check the stock at 10 a.m. Say it's 98, 11 a.m. Okay. So on, we are doing it at regular intervals of time. Okay. So we are collecting the value of same thing, same stocks of ice cream after a regular interval of time. So that's something which comes under time series data. Whereas if I talk about today's stock of ice cream at 10 stores, so it would be store 1, this much, store 2, this much stock, store 3, this much stock, right? So that would be cross section because at a given time I'm collecting the data of all the 10 stores. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, and I have a doubt in some questions.
Okay, is it regarding to this concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, 1 second from the same dashboard. Just
Okay.
one thing, sir. With the dashboard, let's say you in time series data, right? The stock of the ice cream. Let's say in another column, stock of ice cream 2. And another, this is red line, red table, not red table.
Okay.
The second and third column is stock of ice cream 2. So I am collecting the same time, but on the different stocks. So how would be like, sir?
Or that's different category. It's not in the course for now. So yeah, that's
actually,
a different time.
It is not the time, but the same type of question asked in graded assignment, and confused how to answer it.
In graded assignment?
Yeah, it say like in the decade they are collecting in the different cities. So somewhere I think, I don't know it is here, but in the 10 years decade,
It's only in India. It's not in different. It's only we are talking about India, right?
Not this one. Is it same for me?
Yeah, this is the same.
Practice assignment 1.2 question number 4.
Okay, 1 minute. We are first going with this time. Is it into time series cross sectional? We are first covering that.
Sir, please explain cross-sectional
based-
measure.
Okay, sir. I think if it's different state, then that is not in our syllabus current, right?
Yeah, that's something mixed type of data set.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Which questions you are referring to for an activity?
Sir, in exercise, sir, in activity 1.2, I think so.
Okay.
So question number 4.
This one. Okay.
Sir, in this, why the third option is not correct?
Okay, that's something related to case. Okay, what are cases and variables? You know?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you see, is time case or variable?
So time.
Yeah.
Case.
Case.
Variable. It's a variable.
Case.
All right.
Case.
Variable, sir, variable.
Variable.
Variable. Time is variable.
Definition. Variable is something which values varies, right? So if you look at time,
It is unique. Unique property. Second property is uniqueness.
First value of time is 9 a.m., right? Now it is changed to 9:30 a.m. Now it's changed to 10 a.m. So you see the value of time is keeps on varying. So time is a variable, right? Similarly, temperature, its value keeps on varying. So temperature is a variable. Whereas if you look at the particular time, 9 a.m., 9 a.m. is a case because 9 a.m. is referring to the first row. When you say 11:30 a.m., you are referring to this row only, right? So these individual times are cases, but in general, the complete time is a variable, right? Is it clear?
So
that's why time is a variable, whereas these 9, 9:30, 10 a.m. are the cases. Okay.
thank you, sir.
Okay.
So then
Next.
what about cross
Yeah.
time cross, sir?
Time cross. Cross-sectional data.
Yeah.
So in cross-sectional data, you collect the data of various things at a particular time of. Suppose I want before the start of the day, right? I want the stock of ice creams at 10 stores. So this would be, let's say, store 1 has this much, store 2 has this much, store 3 has this much. So that's something cross-sectional. At a given time, I'm collecting about data of various things, right?
Sir, in cross-sectional data, time will be a case, no, sir?
Time will be a, no.
Case will be stored. I mean,
there is no time involved for now in this data set.
Okay, then the particular store will be the case.
Yeah. Store 1 will be the case, store 2 will be the case, store 10 will be the case. Okay.
So in time series data, if time is
changing. We are recording some data over the time. That's mean it is time related. I'm right, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is Shrutika. You have any doubt? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So actually, I wanted to know why is the following statement not correct? For each case, the type of value for each variable is recorded.
Okay, ma'am. For each case.
For each case, the same type of value.
Okay.
For each variable.
Same type of value for each variable
is recorded in structured data.
Each case, same type of value for each variable. Is it in some activity question?
Yes, activity 2, question 1.
If height is in centimeter, then every time it would be centimeter.
This one?
The third option is right.
Yes, the last option is not correct.
For each case, the same type of value. Okay, same type of value for each variable. Okay. See,
it is about the weight is kilogram, then it would be kilogram, not in ounce or some other metrics.
We can look at this data set. Okay, see here 9 AM is a case, right?
Yes, sir.
Temperature is recorded in degrees Celsius.
Yes, sir.
Humidity is recorded in percentage.
Yes, sir.
So see, for each case, the same type of value for each variable. No, we are recording different types of value, right? Here it's in degrees Celsius, here it's in temperature.
No, we are in degrees Celsius, but not in Kelvin. Or in other format. The format would be same for throughout the variable. Centigrade.
One case can record many variables, data from many variables.
Yeah, that's fine, but
then the unit of variable
data type would be same.
Different. Yeah, for the same variable, data type may be same.
No, same type of value. Yeah, it can refer to units or anything.
Data type.
Anything you can refer to. It also refer to the units. The type of value you are putting. It's in degrees Celsius.
Unit is perfect.
Okay.
But it isn't same for each variable.
But it is same type of value for each variable is recorded. See, for each variable, we are not recording the same type, right? For temperature, it would be some other type. For data humidity, it would be something else. If you have another column, it would be something else as well. Right?
No, sir. For case 9 AM, for case 9:30 AM, for all the cases, for the temperature variable, the value is centigrade.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, each column, the value is same. I mean, column-wise, the unit is not changing.
Yeah. That's what the statement says, right?
Yeah, but this is false then.
Yeah, it would be false. Okay. For each case, the same type of value for each variable is recorded. So each case. Okay.
Sir, actually column by column चल रहा है एक case के लिए.
Each variable is recorded. It should be according to me. It should be for each variable, same type of value for each case. Okay. Were you able to understand the statement 3?
Yes, sir. I was able to. Yes.
Okay. So what do you understand by the statement 3?
This means that for each column,
each
row will have the same type, the data type, and the same unit for each row.
It means all the observations in a particular column will have same kind of units, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
So could you explain this, sir? I didn't get it.
Yeah, what does this statement mean?
For each case, that means for each row, the same
it means
type
all
of...
the observation in that particular row should have same units.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Because here, that's what the statement means. For each case, same type of value for each. Like in a particular row, all the values should be of same type or same unit.
Okay.
Which is
that doesn't depend on column then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one more question from activity 3.
Activity 3. Someone asking this, is it clear or shall we do it?
So that means in the last one that unit should be same for every that particular row. That is what it's saying for each case.
Yeah, for each row you should have same type of observation, same units.
Which is not possible.
Which is not, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah. Activity third.
Activity 3, question number 3.
What kind of variables are date and day of the week? Okay, what it should be according to you?
For me, day of the week is categorical because it will be always from Monday to Sunday. But
Okay.
date would not be categorical because date would vary for every week.
Vary, that's what is variable.
The order is there.
See, order is okay. What's the date today?
7th.
Okay, 7th May. Okay, but so yesterday it would be 6th May, right?
Yes.
So is it meaningful to say that 7th May is greater than 6th May?
No,
No.
not greater. No.
And can I add the two? 7 May plus 6 May?
Yes, I can add. Yes.
Okay. Can you add 29 May and
No.
30 May?
No.
No. So you cannot perform such arithmetic operations, right?
Okay.
Both are categorical.
Okay.
And in general, it would be nominal. Within categorical, it would be nominal.
Date is
But sir, order is there, sir. In between, order is there.
No, because you cannot say that 7 May is greater than 6 May. It's not. There is no such order.
And weekday, day of week.
Cannot say that Wednesday is greater than Monday or
Yeah.
something.
Yes, sir.
So that's order nominal.
Same assignment, question number 6. So because of condition, days become like numerical.
Number of days. It's number of days. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
You can say that number of days taken by this group is 10 and number of days taken by group 2 is 12. So you can say that group 2 has taken more days than group 1, right?
Sir, 7th is before 8th. So there is an order.
Sir, I have a question on previous question, sir.
1 minute. 7th is, can you repeat?
7th of May comes before 8th of May.
Yeah, but
So
you cannot say it's greater than that.
So order doesn't necessarily mean greater and less than, right?
No, yeah, order does mean that, right? There should be order. You must be able to say that 8 May is greater than 7 May or something.
And before and after is not an order?
No, it's not an order.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, but we can perform compare operation on the date.
How can you perform compare operation on dates?
Suppose the data set is like order, then suppose first one person ordered previous week and then another person ordered in the next week. So according to that, we can compare the data set.
But you cannot say that 7th May is greater than 1st May or something, right? Or 9th June is less than 7th May. You cannot say like that.
Okay, and if suppose the data set is like a week 1, week 2, then what type of variable that should be?
Week 1, week 2, you cannot also say that week 2 is greater than week 1 or something, right?
Okay, so
So
both
that
are
we-
categorical.
Yeah,
And nominal,
So-
sir? Date and day
Nominal.
are both nominal.
nominal.
So that question, sir, date and day 1.
Yeah.
Sir, that is categorical for sure. But
Yeah.
sir, date is like nominal or ordinal?
Nominal.
Okay. And
You
day is
cannot
also,
order.
and day is also ordinal. Sorry,
Nominal.
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 Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Sir, sometimes sometimes we hear that if your date of birth is less than 7th May, then you can be in this category, and if your date of birth is less than
That's for age.
no date also like I mean if your date of birth is 1st January 2022, then you are eligible.
Yeah, then you are eligible because it's calculating your age. Your age is less than this.
But it is also date. Yeah.
No. It
For the number of
see,
days students
what
take.
happens is in such application they ask for your date of birth, right?
Behind the scene, they are concerning
Then
about
they-
age.
Yeah, they then find out your specific age, and on the basis of that they decide whether you are eligible or not. So age is a ratio. It's numerical.
Sir, if you're saying that date is an
Sir,
Yeah.
Hello.
Sir, I have a
Yeah,
question.
what my doubt is, well, if you are born before June, then you are saying that you are born in the first 6 months of the year. Then, well, it is ordinal, right?
It doesn't matter if you're born first 6 months or last 6 months. It won't be comparable anyway. Right?
Okay.
Sir, if you are saying that date is a nominal value, so then why you are not starting a month with 42 or 43 like that? You are starting with one.
Can you repeat? Your voice is a bit not clear.
Okay. So, sorry, you are saying that date is a nominal scale of measurement.
Yeah.
So, why can't we start a month with then 42, 43 like that?
42, 43.
Why can't we start the day of the month as 42 or 43 rather than 1 or 2 like that?
You should have asked the question. If I were to make, I would make it.
So in a data, can we map the data to 1, 2, 3, date to 1, 2, 3, 4 and make it ordinal?
Yeah, you can make, even you can transform the dates as well to make it numerical, from categorical to numerical. Remember this, we can do these things.
Sir, forget about the age. And if you say another example, if the date is greater than January 1st and less than the April 1st, then it is summer. And if it is greater than April and less than the August, and it is like raining. So we can compare, right? If the date is between these two.
No, you are just labeling it, right? For these labels, Jan, Feb, March, April, it's summer or winter, whatever you said. For next 4 labels, this is something rainy season. For next 4, you are saying these are just labels. You are not comparing in between. You are not saying that
Sir, but
February is greater than January.
Sir, well, Jan, Feb are hot, March and April are hotter. Then it's increasing, right?
Well, but we can also.
But that's the other thing, right? That's the hotness factor you are comparing.
We can also
you cannot compare the
order
months.
date. We can also order date. 5 May comes before 4 comes after 4th May.
Yeah, that comes after and before, but you cannot say that 7 May 2022 is greater than 6 May 2022. You cannot say, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So if like same question, sir, we have grouped the months like from January to March, then March to September, and from September to December. Now we have in that groups we have added students like whose birth is from January to March. They are means they fall under January to March and April to September. Means number fall means sorry, according to their date of birth.
Okay. But can you say that this category is greater than this category?
No, sir, I can't say.
It's nominal, right? If I cannot say that some category is greater than something or less than, it's nominal.
But like,
one basic question actually it is. Sir, one problem is coming is that it is a numerical or not.
Sir, if we are putting data, sir, let me complete my question. So, like here, if there are 3 students, like in January to March, there are 3 students.
Okay.
And for April to September, there are 4 students.
Okay.
And for this, let us take 2 students.
Okay.
So, like now, if we want to compare any 2 individual students, like we take student 1 and student 4th.
Okay.
And now, so we can compare now, like if he falls under January to March, then and second one falls under December 1, then student 1 will be older. Now we can
not
compare.
Necessary. Where is the year also? Suppose he's born in 1996, he's in 2000, or vice versa, right? And anyway, we are talking about only this variable, right? Within this variable, you cannot compare categories in between or order them in some sense. So that's why
we have said that the dates are ordinal.
No, dates are also, you cannot order dates as well, right?
Like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 like that.
You have like that, but you cannot say that 7th May is greater than 6th May. It's not something meaningful comparison.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt in the above slide. Can you please come on the above slide?
I have erased it. Can you repeat?
Okay, sir. Sir, how the age can be the ratio scale of measurement, sir?
How the age can be ratio. Okay.
Sir, age is not absolute zero, I think so.
Age has absolute zero, right?
Age has absolute
Age
zero.
is absolute zero. Okay.
Zero
When you
age
born.
means absence, right? Absence.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And it cannot go beyond zero as well.
Can you?
Sir,
can
sir,
you
one question, sir.
describe
Regarding this, so sir, I am not able to understand about the questions that you from there the debate is started. So there it says the numerical and categorical.
Yeah.
Now for you, the numerical is started. It is started almost. It is when it is in ordinal interval scale. You are telling the numerical value, we consider it as a numerical value when it is at least in the interval scale. Am I right in my assumption?
No, it's not necessary. Numerical value can be in categorical variable as well. When you say jersey number and phone number, pin codes, there are many variables which are numbers but still categorical. So it depends on data mainly.
So, sir, are
But here
dates?
but if you go to the question, sir, just like that question. Yeah. So here it is saying that both are numerical variables. Okay.
Both are categorical.
So, yeah. So we are saying both are categorical variables, but here the
Yeah.
question is that both are numerical variables. So how you define which property I should check if it is a numerical variable or not?
You should be able to do some arithmetic operation like addition, addition subtraction is must at least. Okay. If you're able to perform addition subtraction at least, you can say that it's numerical. Okay.
So, sir, how is date considered a categorical variable?
Have you just joined or?
Yeah, I just came. I just
Okay,
joined.
so you can, I think, go on YouTube. We
Sir,
are
date
discussing
of
it for
birth.
15-20 minutes.
Date of birth should be categorical or a numerical.
Date of birth is also categorical. You cannot add two date of births.
But we compared with the age. Like,
Yeah, you compare age, not date of birth.
then age has a separate variable
Yeah,
and
age
date
has a ratio scale. Right?
Okay.
So sir, what is
in
the
a data-
relation between the categorical and numerical variable?
There is no
Like-
such relation. These two are different categories of a variable.
So in
No,
a
so-
data with
So sir, you say now you already told that this jersey number is a numerical variable. It is a categorical variable. Okay.
Yeah.
So suppose I take an temperature. It's a numerical variable.
Okay.
But I can also say it is an if it is in Kelvin, it is a ratio.
Yeah.
So where is the
One again.
relation is coming, sir?
It depends on the properties. For each we have some properties. So whatever properties that variable will satisfy, it will go in that category.
So suppose for temperature, what are you saying? It is an interval variable.
If it's in degrees Celsius, I will say it's an interval because
But-
I
but-
can
but
perform
why-
addition subtraction, but it don't have absolute zero.
That's right. But if I say that temperature is an interval,
Yeah.
degree centigrade temperature is interval, can I say if there two option is given that it is an interval and it is a numerical? Okay, then which
Yeah.
option I should choose and what is the
You have to
what
choose
will be
both.
Thank you, sir.
So in a data
Can
with
you
so in a
explain
data with
discrete and continuous variable?
so just a minute. In a data with serial number and name, what will be the case?
Name. Serial number is not a variable. Always remember that.
Okay. So
Okay.
what will be the case? The name will be the case.
Yeah, names will be the specific. Each name will be a case. You can see.
Each name will be a case. Serial number is not a case.
Serial number is not a variable at all.
Okay.
It's a dummy variable. Okay?
Will name be a variable also, or just
Name will be a
case?
variable. Each name will be a case.
And if along with name,
Okay, we'll go now some otherwise. Yeah, Shrutika, you have any
Can
doubt?
you
Yes, sir, I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
So in activity 3, question number 5.
Question number 5. Okay.
So I thought this would be cross-sectional because we are taking monthly data of every year. But the answer is time series.
Yeah, because I'm recording the data, same data every month. After a
And but
regular
no
interval
key-
of time, I keep on recording the data, right?
Okay.
So that's time series. Cross-sectional is when at a particular time I collect the data of various things.
If it, how would we convert this into cross-sectional if we had to convert something like that?
Cross-sectional, okay, so I would say that unemployment rate in 1929 only in different countries, USA, India, Australia, and all.
Okay.
That would be cross-sectional. At the particular time of year 1929, at particular month and date, I have recorded the data of unemployment rate in various countries. So that's cross-sectional.
Yeah,
But
that, like
I'm-
we are considering here years, so that's
Yeah.
why we are taking
I'm
it as
I'm taking the data
specific.
every month. Every month I'm noting down the data of whether the same data as well. Unemployment rate every month I'm noting down.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Next is Saad. You have any doubt?
Yes, sir. I have doubt in activity 1.4, question number 3.
Okay. Okay, what should be the answer according to you?
Sir, the answer according to me will be ratio, because time in minutes, the absolute zero is well defined. But if we read the question like very consciously, it states that less than 30 and more than 60. So the intervals are not well defined.
Yeah.
That's why my answer is wrong and the correct answer is ordinal. But
Yeah.
my question to you is, if we manipulate the question and remove that less than 30 and more than 60 scale, only 30 to 45 and 45 to 60 scales are stated in the question, then the correct answer would be interval, or is there anything else?
Only 30 to 45 and 45 to 60.
Yes, if the question states both this and we remove less than 30 and more than 60 from the options in question, so what would be the correct answer in that situation?
Okay, in that situation, I think we can go for
ratio.
No, not ratio.
Interval.
Interval. Okay.
Interval, yeah,
Hello,
it
sir.
has a fixed interval between them, but why can it be ratio? Because the time in minutes is zero is well defined. Absolute
No,
zero
no,
is
no,
well
no.
defined.
If it's only been time in minutes, it would. Okay, see, I think here it will always. I think it should remain ordinal because we have
Yeah,
made the categories.
yeah, I got that.
Made the categories, but when we are talking about only the times, I'm noting down the exact times.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
putting them in some particular intervals. In that case, yes, would be ratio.
Hello, sir.
Okay, and if we
But
put
I'm
in
putting
fixed
in-
intervals, then it would be interval.
I think it should be ordinal.
Yes,
I
the
will
answer
confirm
is
it.
ordinal.
Yeah, I will confirm it and we will discuss in next session. But for me, it
Sir-
will be ordinal.
Sir, please explain this. I thought it's in why it is ordinal. I thought it's interval.
Because it
Hello,
states
sir.
less than 30 and more than 60. So
Okay.
the
Can you
we
add
cannot.
these two, less than 30 plus 30 to 45? Does addition subtraction make any sense over here?
No, we can't, sir.
Then
That's why
Hatay-
it's.
So this means that
Thank you.
So this means that when we group things, then it become ordinal. Like for temperature, also, if we divide it into groups, then it will become ordinal.
Yeah. It
Okay.
should become ordinal. Okay.
Sir, but why it is not ratio scale? We can have a student who do not at all use the phone and 0 minute is timing.
Okay. If you read the question, okay, the students given the following options to choose from, right?
Yes.
So the only option I have is less than 30, 30 to 45.
But sir, less than 30 contains
Okay, yes.
0, na?
Okay, you're coming 45 to 60 and more than 60. Okay, so these are the only 4 possible values for that variable, right? First of all, can I order it? Yeah, less than 30 is obviously smaller than 30 to 45 minutes, right? And 30 to 45 is obviously smaller than 45 to 60 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
But we cannot perform any addition subtraction over here. You cannot add 30 to 45 plus 45 to 60. These are
like arithmetic operations.
different 4 categories. So if you cannot perform any arithmetic operation, how can it be even numerical variable?
Sir, but if less than 30 and more than 30 are removed, then 30 to 45, 45 to 60, we can add on interval 5, 10, we can add something.
No, you can't. A student has to choose only from these 2 categories. There is no other options. That's what specified in the question, right?
Because there are multiple values that are possible. So there is no precise value.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, even for time, it can be, in ordinal scale, it is represented here. If I am noting down the exact time, 30 minutes, 26.5 minutes, 1 minute, and 1.2, it becomes ratio. So it depends on data set. How is data given to you? Okay.
So it's ordinal, sir. It means,
so, sir, as you have
ordinal.
removed that 2 options, then what would be the correct answer now? Like
it will
what
be
is
interval or ordinal.
It would be in interval or ordinal now.
Yeah, I think it should be ordinal now, but I will confirm it once as well and tell you in the next session. Okay.
Okay.
So is it fair to say that the determination of all of this is based on the number of operations or any activity that we can do on this?
Yeah.
The last thing, sir, for this time only, if we start time, not about classes, we just start from 0, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And the second table is from 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So for which one it will be ordinal and for which one it will be ratio?
Can you repeat?
Sir, there are a table for time which is 0 minute, 10 minute, 20 minute, and the other table says means other table starts from 10 minutes, not in classes, just 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay, these are the exact times.
Okay, so yes, sir. So, but here, which one is ordinal? Which one is interval and which one is ratio? Like for second table, it is not starting from 0. So, will we say
not 0 not necessarily be one of the observation? I will say it's ratio. If I am noting down time taken to finish a race, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, player 1 finish it in 10 minutes, player 2 in 20, player 3 in 30 minutes. It is ratio. It can have 0 as well.
Oh, means it is not compulsion that in table 0 should be
it is not
contained.
compulsion. It could be the table should contain 0 for it to be ratio. Okay?
So this ratio table can be
Sir,
converted
why
into
is it
interval
ratio?
table, no, sir?
There is no sense of adding both 10 and 20 minutes.
There you can add and you can also do multiplication.
You can add and you can find average.
You can say that player 2 has taken twice the time as compared to player 1, right? You can do
So can be done in the previous question that less than 30, we can find the average of the.
No, you cannot.
Average.
You cannot add less than 30 plus 30 to 45. You cannot add it. How will you add it? These are just different categories, right?
Okay.
Okay, now further, let's see.
Hello, greeting, sir.
Yeah.
So let's consider a person giving rating or rank to something, then that data must to be collected in which scale, sir?
It's up to you. Okay. Suppose if I am collecting the ratings in integers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It would be interval scale because it don't have absolute 0, but the interval is fixed. 1 star. 1 star, difference is 2 star over here. So it would be interval. If I am taking the ratings on the scale of 0 to 5, it would be ratio. Because now I have an absolute 0 as well. If I am taking the ratings on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, but now I am labeling 1 as poor, 2 as bad, 3 as average, good, and excellent. In that case, it would be ordinal. So it depends how you are collecting the ratings. Okay.
So ordinal has the ratings as names, it becomes ordinal.
Can you repeat?
No, I mean
mean like if we mention the rating, the rate numbers as names like poor, bad, average, it becomes ordinal, simply just like.
Yeah, if you add such labels, it would be ordinal. If you take ratings from between 0 to some other number, it would be ratio. If you take like this, it would be interval. So that's why it's also depends on the context which is given to you to determine whether it's interval, ratio, or ordinal.
And so for rating, if like half star is also considered, then also it will be like interval or ratio, no? Depending upon where it starts.
Yeah, if I am taking 0 to 5, any possibility, 0.5, 0.7, 1.3, any possibility, then also it will be ratio.
Okay.
In that case,
And
it will be continuous numerical also.
So just for a few minutes ago, you explained that like for time, if it is even it is not starting from 0, then also it will be ratio. So here, sir, interval is starting from 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So but ratio, if we just take 0, it becomes like a ratio.
Yeah.
Why? So that's what I didn't understood.
Because it should have absolute 0 to perform multiplication and divisions, right? Time, value of time is also from 0 to infinity. It can go.
Yes, sir.
0 time means that person has no time in the race. He hasn't even run the race. Right? So that's the absolute 0 over here. Similarly, for rating, 0 rating would mean that that person, rating, he doesn't even like it. He doesn't, no rating for him as well, something like that. But when we are taking from 1 to 5, that person has to at least give them 1-star rating, right? So that's where the absolute 0 plays the role.
So, but there can be like one condition, means if someone has given 0 star, it means he has not only given the rating, like for height. If it is 0, it means that the person does not exist.
No. For 0 rating, you can say that absence of rating for that person. He doesn't even wants to give the rating. Something like that.
Yes.
Can be interpreted.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So rating will be like ratio now, even if it starts from 1, 2, 3.
If it starts from 1, then there is no absolute 0, right?
So, but for so this case is similar to height or weight, where like weight, if it is 0, which means that person does not exist. Here also, if like it is,
okay.
Yeah, and here if it is 0, then also it means that the customer does not exist or the person does not exist.
The rating for that person does not exist. Yeah, he doesn't want.
Yes, sir. So, but for height and weight, it comes under ratio, but here it's coming under interval.
This is coming under ratio. This is ratio.
No, sir, that interval 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because here 0 is not even an option. It cannot take 0. 0 is not possible in any case. Only possibilities are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sir, can you
but person don't have an option to give 0-star rating.
Yes. Okay, sir. Let me consider constable, inspector SI. Then they are ordinal scale or interval scale, sir.
Sir, one question, sir. Can you please give quick overview about this interval, ratio, and ordinal?
Have you just joined? Or been there?
Sir, actually I have there, but yeah, I have little bit confusion between this.
Okay. I will come to it. Is your doubt clear about this rating first?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I had a doubt.
It is like constraints. If we put constraints, then it becomes interval. If we like include 0, then it becomes ratio for rating only.
Yeah, it depends on many variables depends on the context and data sets given to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is it possible that all three can be together? Interval, ratio, and ordinal?
No, not possible. Only one of them will be.
Sir, even in activity 1.4, question number 2, it says that the ratio, interval, and ordinal is also correct.
Rank or order is meaningful. So rank or order is meaningful in all the three, right? In ordinal scale also order should matter. In interval also you can order or rank them, right?
But in ratio?
In ratio also you can order them. You see if height is a ratio, right?
Right.
So you can say that someone with height 180 centimeter is greater than someone with height 170 centimeter. You can rank or order. It's an all thing.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, Can
Yeah.
you please differentiate the term between case, observation, and variable in short term?
Case and observations are same. Okay.
Okay.
In general. So in general, variable is something which values varies, right?
Yeah.
We had a good activity question over there. We're discussing as well. Okay, yeah, this one. See, here the value of time keeps on varying. First it's 9 a.m., then 9:30, then 10, right?
Yeah.
Temperature also it's varying. Relative humidity it's varying. So these three are variables.
Okay.
In general, one can say that every column heading is a variable. Time,
Okay.
temperature. Okay. The
Okay.
cases you should be able to uniquely identify the row. If I say 30% relative humidity, okay, then I am
Yeah.
not sure whether I am referring to row 1 or row 2. So it is not a case. But if I say 10 a.m., you know exactly that I am talking about third row only. If I say 1 p.m., we know that we are talking about this row only. So cases
Yeah.
is what which uniquely identifies each row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, as you said, time is a case now.
Time is a variable, but 9, 9:30, 10:30, these all are cases.
Sorry, apologies for asking again this question. Why the third option is not correct for this question? Time is case.
No, time is a
You
variable.
previously said time is case.
Value of time is keeps on varying, right? 9 a.m., 9:30, 10. So it's a variable.
Okay. Okay.
But each individual time, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m., these are cases.
Okay,
because
sir.
whenever I say 10:30 a.m., you know which row you have to check.
Okay. And one more question. Consider constable yet constable SI inspector. They are under which scale? Ordinal scale or interval scale, sir?
Which thing?
Sir, can you repeat again?
Which thing you are asking?
Out of topic, measure of scale, sir.
Measure
Scale
of
of
scale.
measure.
Okay.
Consider constable yet constable SI inspector.
Okay, that would be ordinal, right? You can rank them according to their post.
Okay. And my last question is, can you give me an example for structure and unstructured data? Some example, please.
Sir, before that, I have to ask.
For question 5, sir.
Okay, one by one. We will.
Why, sir, angle measured in degree is a ratio scale of measurement?
It's 0 to 360, right?
Yeah.
Or even more than that, 0 to I think it can go on if you keep on looping it. So it has an absolute 0. Zero
But, sir,
degree means.
Angle can also be negative. It depends on the degree.
See, yeah, that's what I'm
direction
saying.
of rotation.
It depends on your data sets, how you are measuring. Many people say if you are moving to that direction, it would be minus 30 degree, right? Some say it would be. So it depends how you are measuring it in general.
But sir, in practice, assignment 1, it has been given a ratio scale of measurement. What should I?
Yeah, it has been taken like that, 0 to 360. But whenever such questions appear in graded or quiz, it will be specified very clearly.
Okay.
So, sir, to be clear, whenever there is a negative value, we can roll out ratio scale of measurement.
Yeah.
So in activity 2, question 5.
Oh, one minute. I'm just looking for structured and unstructured data.
Yes, sir. Question 5 is that only, sir.
Question 5 is that? Okay. Yeah. Great.
So here means how will we find that which is structured and which is unstructured?
Okay, which should be the structured ones according to you?
For me, mail should be structured because first we have name, then at the rate, then we have that account means Gmail or domain name.
Okay.
So it should be structured.
Okay. And
so report should be structured because like there is a order.
There is an order. Okay.
Yes, sir. First we write
and
heading, then body.
sir, video file be structured because the events are organized, and web page also because the pages are
video files are not
okay. Let me clarify you guys first with the what is
sir,
structured
video
and
files
structured
are
data.
not structured.
See, structured data is something which we can organize in the tabular format.
Okay.
So if you look at the web pages, even if I make a column web pages, and even if I keeps on writing it, it's don't make any dead sense. It's are useless unless I open it and note down some information from that web page, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it comes under unstructured data. Similarly, video files. Video files, if you put in, you cannot organize it in the tabular form also.
Yeah.
Again, unstructured. Reports, to be honest, it depends on type of reports we are having. Some reports are structured, some are unstructured. So it's a kind of ambiguity over here. Image files also you cannot organize. In a column you can plug in all the images, but that's again something not well organized and meaningful for us to analyze. If you note down some properties of that image, like this is the pixel, this is the size, that's something we can include in the structured data, but only image files we cannot, right?
Okay, sir. Let's consider YouTube comments as structured or unstructured.
And if you want to look at an example for this, I think I might have one. Okay, let me share it. Can you see this data set?
Yeah.
See, is it structured or unstructured?
It is, I think it is structured.
Unstructured, right? Because it's not organized in a tabular format or something, right?
Yes, sir.
It is Excel file, sir.
But sir, we can organize this, na?
We can organize this. Sir.
Yeah, Excel file. It is a
Yeah,
CVG file.
it also.
It is still not organized, so it is unorganized.
Now it's structured, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's the difference between structured and unstructured. You are able to see that's how well organized this data set is now. Okay.
Yes, sir, but like for previous example, emails, they are single variables. So from single variables, how can we decide whether it is structured or unstructured?
From email address, if you note down the email address, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think
So it is alphanumeric,
you can
right?
organize. You can organize it in some data sets. It is possible to organize. You can organize in some columns of email that these are the Gmails and Yahoo and all that. You can organize it.
Yes, in a tabular form,
You can organize it. You can organize the emails, but you cannot organize image files, video files, and web pages.
Couldn't we organize video files and image files on the basis of the time and size?
You can, but you cannot organize the complete video files in the tabular format.
So, sir, how is date considered a categorical variable?
Date we have discussed already a lot. You can go on YouTube and watch instead of interrupting in between.
Sir.
Yeah.
So in image files, we can organize in the way of like size, right? Like we can see their size now. Like some images are very big size.
Yeah, if you're noting down the properties, see image one and then its size, its pixels, and all that. If you're noting that, you can organize in that table or some structured manner, right? But all the image file is photos, you cannot put it in a tabular format. And all the web pages, all the video files, you cannot do that. These things are not possible in general.
So they're asking irrespective of all the properties that we can apply.
Yeah, in general, we are asking, how can you organize video files in some tabular format?
You can organize video file in a folder structure and all in computer.
In folders and all. Here, structured, it means it has some predefined manner, like tabular format in which we have to organize. Only then we will be able to proceed further. See, if in further courses you will learn some tools. If you cannot get your data set in this format, you won't be able to proceed further to work. Okay, so and you cannot get all those PDF files, web pages in such format.
So, like, can you give an example where unstructured data cannot be converted into a structured data? Like for
Yes.
this, unstructured data was converted into structured data, but can you give an example where it cannot be?
Okay, suppose I have 10, 20 images, 20 images. I cannot organize it this such tabular format. How will I do it? Right? It's not possible to have one image over here, then two. It's not possible. Only
Yes,
thing
so
I can do
for
is
that
I
you
can
have
have
to apply a
image.
property.
Yeah, only thing I can have is image link over here. Then I can have some properties defining it, right? Anything.
It's like a size there.
Yeah, in that case, it could become structured, but only image files I cannot organize in tabular format. Video files I cannot put it in a table. How will I put video files all in a column or in a table, right?
Yes, we can mention their names.
Yeah.
Sir, could you explain discrete and continuous discrete and continuous numerical variable?
Yeah.
So could you explain numerical and continuous?
Okay, but
Discrete numerical variable.
Okay, what should be discrete numerical variable according to you?
I think it is like in decimal points.
No, it's not like decimal. See, if I talk about, let's say, number of runs scored by a batsman, right? It can be either 0, 1, 2, so on, right? It could be any. It can go up to infinity, right? So in general, if you see, take any two, suppose I'm taking 1 and 2, right? It will either take the value 1 or 2. It cannot take any in between value like 1.1, 1.3, right?
Yeah.
It will take either 1 or 2. That is discrete. Whereas for continuous, suppose average runs. So again, it could be anything from 0 to infinity. But here it can take any in between value. Suppose you say average of player 1 is 11.3 and player 2 is 11.5. So there could be any other player whose average is 11.4.
Yeah.
Then also there could be any other player whose average is 3.7, right? Something like that. So you can have all the values in this interval.
So can we say like integer is a discrete and real numbers are continuous?
Not in general integers. You can have decimals as discrete as well. Suppose in general you have only 1 rupee coin and 50 paisa coin. Okay. So and your transaction amount is something this 1.5035 4.50. See, you can have 1.50 as one observation. You can have 2 as one observation, but you cannot have any in between. 1.75. You cannot have 1.75 as your possible value, right? So that's also discrete.
Sir, can you give one more example about discrete and continuous basic difference?
One more example. Okay. See, suppose in a test there are 10 MCQs, right? So number of correct answers you got, it could be either 0, 1, 2, so on up to 10, right?
Yes, sir.
You cannot have 0.5 correct answers or 0.76 correct answers, right? So that's discrete. Whereas if I talk about percentage marks scored by you, again it goes from 0 to 100, but it can take any value in this interval. Any value, you say 11.167, yeah, that's a possible value. 11.16667, that's also a possible value, right? It can take any value in this interval. 32.4.
Percentage is the continuous one.
Yeah, it's continuous. It can take any value in this interval. Whereas in discrete, we have some specific value that variable can take. It cannot take all the values in the interval.
Sir, stairs are discrete and the ramp is a continuous kind of stuff. The ramp slope is a kind of stuff, but the steps are the
you can say it. Yeah. Okay.
Sir,
move.
In a question, when we have to select multiple answers,
Yeah.
then that will be continuous.
Which thing?
Like if a question is given and we have to select 2-3 answers from it, then it
Okay.
will be a continuous.
No, it won't be.
Discrete.
See,
Because sometimes we get 0.6 only because one we have missed
see,
answering.
there are, let's say, 10 MCQ questions, right?
Right.
And each question has, let's say, 4 options. Okay. So let's say question 1 has 2 options correct.
Right.
Would be understood. So if you got 1 correct, you got only 0.5 of that question correct. And question 2, suppose 3 options correct, you got all 3 correct. So you got it complete correct, right?
Right.
So your possible value is 1.5 corrects. But you cannot have 1.12 correct. All possible values should be considered from 0 to 2. All values it cannot take.
So it will be discrete only.
Yeah, it will be discrete.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, is time continuous?
Yes, time is continuous. Can take all the value from 0 to infinity. Again, it depends on the data set as well. How is time given? Right.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
In activity 1.3, question number 8 about.
Okay, 1 minute. I will come one by one. Yeah, Pawan,
Sir,
you have any
it's,
doubt?
yes, sir. It's related to this continuous and discrete.
No, sir. I just asked.
Okay. Which question you are referring?
Activity 1.3, question number 8.
1.3 question. Okay. Okay, so what should be the answer according to you?
Sir,
yeah.
It can be quantitative and continuous, but don't know the exact reason.
Okay. If you are measuring a bag, it could be 10 kg, right? It could
Yes,
be
sir.
10.12 kg. If you have
Yes,
a
sir.
powerful tool of measurement, it could be 10.1287 kg. It can take any value from 0 to infinity, right?
Yes,
All
sir.
possible values. So that's why it's continuous.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
If we talk about the number of days taken to complete something like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, that is discrete, right?
Yeah. But in some data sets, you will see 1.2
Yeah, yes,
days.
1.2 days, 3.4 days, then
That would be continuous. So it depends on mainly on data sets. Okay, next, Devansh Jain, do you have any doubt?
Yes, sir. I was having the doubt in that image and video files. It's clear now.
Okay, great. Devraj, you have any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt in practice assignment 1.2.
Okay, regarding this practice assignment 1.1, there are 5 questions, right? But every time you refresh it, you will get new set of 5 questions. So you can practice more if you want. Every time you refresh it, you will have a new set of 5 questions. It's only in the first assignment of every week.
Sir, only activity 1.1 can be refreshed or all the
Practice assignment 1. Like first practice assignment 1.1, right? Every time you refresh, you will get new set of question. Here
Sir,
also practice assignment 2.1.
But sir,
Every time you refresh.
which will be considered for marking?
We have all the data in the backend. We will consider. See, practice assignment 2.1. Every time you refresh, you will have a new set of 5 questions. So if you want to practice more questions, just refresh first practice assignment of whichever week you are practicing. You will get new set of question every time.
Okay.
The second practice assignment will have fixed questions.
Yes, sir. Question number 19. I have doubt.
Sir, one question. Sir, this marks section only graded assignments will be calculated for the.
Practice assignments have some bonus marks in it.
Okay.
Yeah, question number 19. Okay.
Sorry, 18.
Which one?
18.
18. Okay. Ratio scale of measurement. Okay. Which one should be according to you?
Sir, option 1 cost per unit is okay. I can see that. and total cost also, and why the units are in ratio.
Total cost unit, serial number is not a variable.
Yeah. But
Okay,
why
which
is unit the ratios here?
units can also have zero value, right?
So that means that
I haven't
they are
purchased
absent.
it. Yeah, I haven't purchased it. 0 units. I can add the 7th something, I can write category, brand, and unit I can have 0. I haven't purchased it. Units can have a possible value, right? 0.
And question number 19.
Yeah.
The third option you see.
Okay, yeah, one more thing. Whenever you select some answers in practice assignment, then click on check answers, you will see the feedback, which is the correct answer. You won't be having separate solution PDF for practice assignment. And it is possible if you haven't attempted the question and then clicked on check answer, it's possible you won't see the feedback unless and until you attempt it. So only click on check answer after attempting all questions. So you will see the feedbacks. Okay.
So then in this option 2, cost per unit is continuous, but total cost is not continuous in the table, if you see.
But it can be.
How, sir?
It can be total cost.
It can be, but referring to this table, it is not.
Referring to this table, but it is possible, right? Cost per unit is a ratio, right? You agree?
Yes, because of
So,
5.1.
So cost per unit is ratio. It means it can have any value from 0 to infinity.
Yeah.
Right. So suppose instead of 5.5, it's something 5.13, and I have purchased 4 units. Then in that case, it would be.
Yeah, I can understand that, but in this table, right, referring to this 5.5 into 4, it became 22. But referring to this table, it is not the continuous.
No, it is continuous. Can have any value. Even if you look at it, it can take all the values in between 0 to infinity, depending on cost per units. Cost per unit can be in decimal. That hint is given to you by the third.
Right? So if cost per unit in this 5.5, if it would be just 5, then the total cost would be in numerical or discrete.
In general, I will still consider it as ratio, but to give you that understanding, we usually mention it in decimals, so you get the idea of it. But in general, if you're working on some practical problems, you should consider it continuous and ratio.
Thank you.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, I didn't understand about discrete and continuous data. Can you please repeat that again? Sir?
See, discrete data is when we can have only some specific values that our data set can take, that variable can take.
Okay. Okay, sir.
If I talk about 10 MCQ question, right? So I can have either 0 correct, 1 correct, 2 correct, 3 correct, or up to 10 correct, right? These are the only possible values. I cannot have 0.13 corrects or 2.17 corrects, right? Whereas if you look at the marks in percentage, you can have any value in this interval, 0 to 100, right? Your marks can be 26.178%, 20.13%. Any value in this interval you can think of could be the possible value of marks, right? So that's continuous.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Next is Ranjit. You have any doubt?
No, sorry. Actually, I already got the answer. Thank you.
Next, Meet, you have any doubt?
No, sir, it just cleared. It was about continuous and discrete. Thank you.
Shrishti, you have any doubt?
Yes, sir. Can you please explain qualitative and quantitative variable with the example?
You understand categorical and numerical?
Yeah, I got it.
So categorical is qualitative, numerical is quantitative.
Okay, but
it's just another terms.
Can you please give a certain type of example so that it can clear?
Quantitative and numerical is quantitative.
Okay.
So if I talk about, let's say, names of players in Indian team. then that would be categorical, right? Player A, player B, player C. These are the names. This is categorical data, right? These are just different categories or something. These are just labels. You cannot perform any arithmetic operation on them.
Okay.
Whereas if I talk about number of runs scored by the player, 20, 15, 10, then that comes under numerical variable or quantitative variable. You can perform numerical operations over there. Like you can say that the total of their runs will be 45, average of their runs will be something this. You can do mathematical operations, right?
Okay. Okay.
So that comes under the quantitative. And whenever you have categories, it's qualitative.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
The next.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if it is interval, the difference between the two it should be the same for the interval. Is it necessity that the difference between two values? I mean, if there are 5 values, 10 to 20, 20 to 30.
Yeah, it should be same.
Otherwise, it's not called. So it's not called interval should be same and ratio should be. It can be different.
No. Thing is, nominal variables are just labels, right? Just labels of category. Then comes the ordinal,
which can be labeled and ordered.
Labeled and ordered. Right? Then comes the interval. In interval, you can order and difference thing also added over here, right? So you see all the properties of ordinal are carried in interval. Similarly, all the properties of interval are carried in ratio. In addition, it has an absolute zero.
And in interval and ratio, the differences should be the same.
Yeah, all the properties of interval will be in ratio as well. All the properties of ordinal will be in interval. Yeah. So that's the kind of hierarchy you can remember.
Thank you.
Next is Rajiv Kumar. You have any doubt?
Sir, what is the scale of measurement of year? Under what scale of measurement it comes? Year? Calendar year?
Nominal.
It's just labels, right? It's just nominal, right? You cannot rank them in some order or something.
Nominal, sir.
Yeah, you cannot say year 2022 is greater than 2021 or something. In some sense, you cannot order it or rank it.
Okay.
Okay. If another way you can think, if I ask you to tell me the top 5 years, if you can't rank it, how would you tell the top 5 years, right?
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Can you explain how a particular year can be called a nominal, ordinal, or interval variable? Like, in what cases can they change their behavior?
But in simple, if you're talking about year, just simply the year. This is nominal, completely nominal. Okay. In future, I think you will come across with the questions where you will have some different factors. Yeah.
But sir, between 2 years, there is a fixed difference, fixed measurement.
No, you cannot perform any mathematical operation. You cannot add 2 years, right?
Okay.
It's not meaningful addition subtraction.
Yes, sir, we cannot.
There is no fixed interval. The leap year also there.
No, including that also, these are just the labels, nothing else. Okay.
We have to find out age. Then we have to subtract that current date and the date of birth. That time only we can find out the age factor. So
no. Even we cannot. We don't subtract current date with date of birth. Actually, we count the number of days in between them.
We subtract the year.
You cannot subtract years. 23 minus 1976. It doesn't make any sense.
And sir, how will
Sir,
we
then how we
calculate our
can
age?
find out the between days? What is the criteria, sir?
In general, what happens is we consider 365 days as 1 year, right?
Hmm.
So what happens to calculate your age? What you are doing is from the date of birth, you are calculating how many number of days is till current date. And then you convert it into years. That's how you identify your age.
Oh, okay.
We are not subtracting two dates or years. It is not meaningful operation to do. You cannot subtract it, right? Today's date.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You
Sir,
cannot
we can
subtract it.
subtract current year with
yes,
date
sir.
of birth
we,
years.
yeah.
You cannot do these things, right?
Sir, but we can take only the year. And
Only the
subtract
year
it.
can be.
Only the year, no, still it won't make it. See,
Sir,
1983
we
minus
can add 10.
1976, it
Sir,
should
we
be
can.
another year, right? 7. It doesn't make any meaningful operations.
Sir, it tells
Sir,
age,
sir,
na? That's
we
mean
can add.
it
We
is
can.
meaningful.
We can add
No,
any
no, no.
numerical value in a year, sir. In 2000, if we add 10, it becomes 2010.
No. It's not like that. See, what is the unit of this? First, tell me. Does it have any unit?
No, year has no unit.
Numerical data always have units. Categorical data don't have units. May or may not have units, but numerical must have units. So you cannot.
Sir,
subtract
GPA, sir, GPA is an interval scale of measurement, but it has no unit.
No, it has unit GPA. You say GPA, grade points, 4 grade points, 10 grade points.
What
You
is the
have it.
unit of rate if we rate some soap or something?
1 star, 2 star. You have something in general, right? Even if you talk about marks, you have 10 marks, 20%. You have something, but you don't have anything in years.
Then in years also, we have years, na? 7 years,
AD,
10
sir.
years.
We can have AD.
AD? No, that's not that thing. Okay, then how you cannot
AD
add
and
AD
BC.
and BC? You cannot add them.
Yes,
So
sir.
if we go by that means, then time can also be negative. Like for instance, if I started to work at 9 a.m., so before
Okay.
that, all the time will become negative. So we should not consider
In,
like that now.
in case of year, absolute zero does not exist. We go to BC. There is no concept of zero in year.
Yeah, there is
So-
also no mathematical operations that can be performed. You can try and think and argue, but still there is no way you can perform mathematical operations over there. This is no meaningful mathematical operation. 1983 minus 7, but is 7 making sense?
Okay.
But if
Could
I
you
subtract 2 marks, 40 marks minus 20 marks, yeah, that makes sense. 20 marks difference we are having, right?
But you can add 1983 plus 20. You'll get some year.
Plus 20. Why 20? Like year, I have either
Okay,
this
if
or
it's
this.
not 20, I'll add some 10. Then it will become 1993.
I want to add 2 years, right? 1983, I want to add this. But meaningful sense it will give to me. I will get some value. Okay, let's say I got this value. Now, how does this value make sense to you in any way? How can you say that addition of these 2 years is this? Is it any meaningful in some sense? We can do, even if you look at Jersey numbers, I can add Jersey numbers, 17. But what sense does it make?
But we can do subtraction operation in this year, no?
No, you
To
can
find
not.
out the difference.
Even if you do it, see, it don't have any units. First of all, units is missing in this, right? If you subtract it, 7 doesn't make any sense unless you add the unit 7 years. So if these two have no units, how will their difference have any units unless you add this years? Like if you do 10 centimeter minus 5 centimeter, you get 5 centimeter, right? But if you subtract these unitless labels, how will you get something meaningful?
Sir,
Yeah.
well, for a numerical variable, addition and subtraction must be performed, right?
Yeah, must be performed.
Okay. Here subtraction only can be performed. Addition
Yeah, nothing can be
can't
performed.
be performed. Yes.
Okay, and you all also joined with the name mark with some numbers 48441. What's your query?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, can we say ratio on interval scale is a continuous numerical value?
Not necessary. Even in continuous, it is possible you don't have absolute zero. So continuous discrete is something different and interval ratio is something different. You can't link in between the two.
Sir, in case of year, you said it is a nominal scale of measurement.
Yeah.
Can there be any cases like year is interval as well as ratio scale of measurement? Can there be any cases like that?
I don't think so for now.
Sir, when we
But in
when we
future
say
we may.
sir,
Yeah.
when we calculate the periods, for example, from a Babur period, for example, or maybe like Humayun period, so then we calculate that year of range, right?
See, in that cases, what we do is we calculate the number of days in general. See, from 2000 to 2020, right? What we do is we calculate the number of days. You can say Jan 2000 to March 2020. Calculate the number of days and then convert it into years.
Okay,
in
sir.
general, you cannot
Calendar
perform
year,
these addition subtraction.
Calendar year.
Yeah, in general, you cannot perform these things.
We give a name to those years, label name.
These are just tables, nothing else.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have a doubt about time series data and a cross-sectional data.
Okay.
Sir, I will first give you an example and then ask you the question about it.
Okay.
Suppose, let's say I've taken a birth rate information for about 100 years. Okay, in a village, there's a
Okay.
village, and I've taken a birth rate of that village.
Okay.
And the data is about 100 years, from past 100 years till now. Suppose, let's say, from 2001 to 3001.
Okay.
Year 3001. Okay. So if the data is, if you look at the data on a whole, then it is a time sectional data, because there are intervals from 2001 year to 3001 year. Okay.
Okay.
So if it is a cross-sectional data, then you would give a particular time saying so and so year what was the birth rate. So this is how the cross-sectional data be like, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now what I would do is, out of these 100 years, I make each decade a time period. Each decade, out of 10 decades, I make each decade a time period.
Okay.
And say and ask what is the birth rate in this decade. Just like you say year, I say this decade. Suppose in the third decade of this century, what was the birth rate in this village?
Okay.
So is this a cross-sectional data or a time series data? Because if you talk about an year, in a year there are again what do you say, smaller things like months again. Like if it is a 12 months again a year, there is again there is an interval again, like from Jan of that year to December of the year. So there is an interval.
Okay.
And yet it is considered as a cross-sectional data, because it isn't mentioned that this is from this month to this month. It's told on a whole that it's a year.
Yeah, it could be recorded anytime in that year.
Yeah. So the same type, in the same way, I would say a decade. What is the let's say what was the birth rate of this village in this decade?
Okay.
So decade is again like you sum up all the birth rates of every year of the decade, and you can still tell it as like in this period of time this was what the birth rate is. So that can become a cross-sectional data, right?
Okay. You are just thinking it a bit wrong way. I can't discuss it as it is graded assignment question. But
No,
yeah,
this is not a grade assignment. This was discussed in the lecture itself.
No, this is graded assignment question, right?
No, graded assignment, it is there.
Yeah.
For graded assignment, I have answered it and it's correct. That's fine.
Okay.
But I'm just looking at this in a different way. Like why we have taken here, If the
In
fixed time
general,
was about a year.
after regular interval of time, right? At this time, I have recorded something. After some time, I recorded this. The same thing I am recording. Right? After some time, I recorded. So it's times at regular interval of times, I'm noting down the same things. So that's something time series.
Yeah.
But if at a particular time, I'm noting down, birth rate of many countries at a time,
Okay.
then that's something cross-sectional. At a particular time,
Okay.
I'm noting down birth rate of various different countries, something like that. But if I'm noting down birth rate of only a specific country at a regular interval of times, that would be time series, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
And sir, if we compare the decades, then it will be a cross-sectional data.
How will you compare the decade? Comparing
Like
decades
maybe in the first decade it was like that, in the second decade the birth rate is that much.
Okay, but yeah, see, you don't have to do any comparisons. The main thing about identifying time series and cross-section is you are given some data.
Right.
You have to just note down whether it is taken at a particular time or we are noting down the same thing after a regular interval of times. That's how you identify time series and cross-sectional.
Oh, okay.
Comparing and all that thing we do in analysis. For time series cross-sectional, that's the only thing you have to note down, how the data is collected.
Okay, sir.
So data collection is an important factor. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But my question is, see, in a question they might tell you like in the year 2000 or in the month of Jan or in the month of May or whatever. But every like here the type of time they're giving is like it can be a year, it can be a month, or it can be a week also.
Okay.
But every type has got its smaller scale in it. Like if it is a month, you can convert it to weeks or days. If it is a year, you can
it
convert
will
it
be
to
mentioned.
months.
Even if you look at population census, right? It is
Yeah.
conducted after every 10 years. If it's conducted in 2000, it would be conducted in 2010 next time.
Yeah.
It will be conducted in 2020.
Yeah.
In between, we are not doing anything. It's just after the one decade only. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's fixed. See, it's fixed, right? Like for every 10 years, you make a new population.
Yeah, we do census. Yeah.
Yeah, census. Yeah. So now, when they ask about the birth rates, that means each decade is a fixed amount of time, which can actually be a cross-sectional data. Because if you take about a century, each decade becomes one set.
No. I am recording the birth rate after every 10 years. In 2000, I have noted it down.
Okay.
Now I am not doing anything. After 10 years, I will come and note it down. After
Okay.
10 years again, I will come and note it down. I'm
Okay.
noting down the same thing after a period of 10 years, right?
Okay.
So that comes under time series. At regular interval of time, I keep on noting the same thing.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I'm just modifying this question just a little bit. I am adding that we are noting the birth rate of UAE and India. Then what?
But that's beyond the scope of this course. We have other types of data, time series cross-section, and we have other types of data which is not covered in your question.
Then it will not come in cross-section. We are because
no. It's the mixture of cross-section and time series.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, that's not under your course for now. Anyone? Anything else?
Sir, question number 17 and 18 of practice assignment 1.2.
17. Okay.
Sir, here.
Yeah.
The BP can also be like ratio now. Since BP cannot be zero, means below zero.
No. Okay.
It will be.
Okay. Ignore that zero below zero. Can you add first two BPs? What will it give you?
Oh. Means no sensible data.
No sensible. So it's not even a numerical variable. Right?
Oh. It's just.
First check whether it's numerical or categorical. Then
The tag that it's nominal now. It's now I understood, sir. And so
first
the
check
18th
whether it's categorical or numerical. Only then move forward.
It's a categorical.
Categorical, sir.
Yeah,
now
question number 18.
So
Sorry,
here
how is
you
BP categorical? I didn't understand actually. I know it's not numerical, but how
BP is
it
not
categorical?
categorical.
Here, here in
it's just
the
like
way it's
just
recorded,
a
it's
mobile number.
categorical. You cannot add or subtract any two observations, right? You
That's
cannot
true.
add
That's
180,
numerical.
80. You cannot add them, right?
Yeah, so
Can't
that's
we
not
find
numerical.
average?
It is, that's why it is categorical. You cannot perform any numerical arithmetic operation on it.
It is just like mobile number of a person or jersey number.
Yeah,
Of
yeah, you
Yes,
cannot add.
it's
no
just
meaning.
like a label. It has no numerical properties.
Yeah. If
And
we
it-
had two different columns for it, HP and LP, then we can have numerical cells, right?
Yes, sir.
So are you saying that if anything is not numerical, then it becomes by default categorical?
Yeah. If some variable is not numerical, by default it goes to category. Yeah.
So in 18th question, the unit in table that unit 1.
Yeah.
So it is numerical for no doubt. So but it should be interval now because
I
like
can
if
have 0 units purchased also, right? You can add
Yes.
another element and write 0 units. It is possible.
but-
0 units means absence of that item in your list.
Yes, but like it's just like the example of rating numbers. Since like it is a list, so if no one will take 0 units of any item.
Yeah, but it is possible to add it in the list, right? In
Oh.
rating, you can't, even if you want, you can't rate 0 stars because you don't have that options. But here you can add 0 units objects as well, right? You are obviously not purchasing everything.
Okay. And so like for units, can we means there is a sense of multiplying or adding units of different items.
Yeah, you can also do that. That cellophane number of cellophane grips is twice than the number of lace American you are purchasing, right?
Oh, okay, sir. Yes, sir.
That's also you can make multiplication
Yes.
division. You can also perform. So ratio sense you are getting from it already.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So blood pressure is, if we consider high and low blood pressure in the separate columns, then
Yeah,
they
then
will
you.
be,
Yeah, then there will be ratio.
because in blood pressure, we can label people as having hypertension or high blood pressure, or we can label people as having low blood pressure. So there is a certain order and there is a certain.
Yeah, that's something, medical field thing where doctors know whenever you have this label, you have to tell them that, yeah, you have high blood pressure.
Yes.
So they know
so
the when to labels which comes under which. Yeah.
So, so the thing is that above 200 range is like till 120 is considered as a normal BP. Even 130 is considered as a normal BP. But if he is goes like to be above 200, and it is considered as a high BP.
Okay.
So then it will always comes in a categorical, because those who are suffering from high BP, so he may be range from 200, maximum 200 or minimum 180 like that. So then it will calculate as a categorical.
Yeah, sometimes it depends how you are plotting down the data sets as well, right? So in the way it is given in this table, it is categorical completely.
But categorical which types, sir? Nominal or ordinal?
Nominal.
You tell. Which
I think
observation
it is
greater?
ordinal, because we can classify blood pressure according to, suppose if it is less than say 80, then we can say that it is low blood pressure.
Okay, no, tell me, the blood pressure of Joseph and blood pressure of Hitesh, which one is greater of the two? And why?
Which cases, sir?
Hitesh and Joseph.
Okay.
Which one is greater and why?
Okay. They both come under normal blood pressure, sir, because I think these are
not normal blood pressure. Which observation is greater? Can you rank them?
No.
Then it won't be ordinal, right? If you can't rank.
Yes. So the reason is probably is because in blood pressure there is systolic and diastolic. There are two numbers which.
What happens in medical field is doctor knows that if this is the label you are getting, you are suffering from this disease. They know the labels, right? Whenever you have
But I
such
think,
observation.
but I think there are two different
But sir,
variables
here we have units. These units, I think, are in millimeters of mercury. So here we have units also. But this 120 is actually millimeters of mercury. This 85 is millimeters of mercury.
That would be cancelled out, right?
So this is not division. So I think it is a high.
If it's not division, then how will 120/85 can have some units? They both individually have unit HP and LP. If I separate it into two different columns, both will become numerical.
Okay.
But combined, it's categorical.
So if it is combined, then it is a nominal categorical. And if
Yeah.
it is in different, then it is numerical.
Yeah, numerical, and I think it will even be ratio as well.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone, anything else? Shall we
I have a
wrap up?
question, but not
Yeah.
related to the assignment. Can I ask, or maybe I
Yeah,
can
sure.
wait?
Yes.
So what has happened is, I actually just joined and started studying, and I found there are so many WhatsApp and Telegram groups. I wanted to collaborate as well. I'm just not able to find the right one, which is the official one.
There is no official Telegram group for now. Whenever we will make one after week 2, and you will be given that link through announcement only. All other groups are unofficial. There is no official group from our end.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
thank you.
So in
And
the
yeah.
data with many columns, with
And
many variables.
if there will be any other official source, you will be informed about it. Don't trust any other information in some WhatsApp group and Telegram group, because many students do that. And
But
then they ask that we have heard that, but don't believe unless it's something officially said to you through some official source.
In the beginning, when we had the first session, there was a lady who mentioned that there were Telegram and WhatsApp group that they were creating.
Yeah, every student do it. Even in today's session, I was seeing many students posting some Telegram groups, but none of them is official.
Got it. Thanks for this information.
So in a data with many variables, the variable which has distinct values for each case, that variable will be considered as a case, right?
Yeah, each row should have unique value for that variable.
Unique value. That variable will be considered as a case.
That individual observations will be considered as case.
Okay.
So can we take a leave, sir?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We will close the session.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Good day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
thank you, sir.
Hello.